Hi everyone, welcome to my 12 days of Christmas watercolour trees challenge. So the first day, which is today, we are going to do this snowy scene. Okay, I've got a lovely bit of Saunders Waterford, a cotton paper. It is about 7 by 5 inches. I'm going to keep these tree challenges nice and small. I'll talk you through the colours as I go. This is a no draw one to start with. So I'm going to leave a snowy line. I'm going to wet the sky. I'm using a round number 10. I've got a selection of brushes. I'll tell you what I'm using as I'm going. But I've got a round number 10, a round number 6, a number 2 rigger, a small flat, which is about 1 centimetre wide, and a number 2 detailer, which I hardly ever use. So it's my round number 10 that I'm getting a nice sheen of water on. You can see that just there. Look, that lovely sheen where it's wet, no puddles. Okay, so the first colour that I'm coming into is intense blue. It is intense. It's phthalo blue, so anything of a phthalo pigment would work. Prussian blue, Windsor blue, depending on what brand you're using. Indigo would work lovely for this, so you don't need to buy special colours. It's all about practicing and building on techniques. This is wet in wet. I'm taking little wispy bits in. You'll see that it shoots a little bit. This is typical of a phthalo pigment. It's a bit shooty. It's shooting out and about. I'm going to leave a little bit of white in here. Give my brush a bit of a rinse. Then I've got some mauve here. So this is a cotton. I'm using Cotman today. I tend to use quite a lot of Cotman, which is Winsor & Newton. If you didn't have mauve, you could use a bit of rose. You could use a bit of alizarin crimson. That would mix quite nicely with the blue. You could use a bit of cobalt blue and rose. That would make a perfect mauve. I'm going to bring that through. So we're getting 2 colours in this background. Mix them together so tonally you're getting a nice blend in places. So I'm wisping through. I want a nice blend. And then the last colour I've got here, these are all neat colours, is a little bit of sepia. I'm just going to bring that along this edge. So it's starting to look nice and dark against the snow. Nice contrast there. Wisp some of this up a little bit. It's giving you a feeling of distant trees there. Okay, then I have an old toothbrush. So if I dip this into the water, what I'm waiting for is for the sheen to start to go off this. So I'm going to show you a different way that other than salt to do a little bit of snow. And you can do it with water and making watermarks. So I'm just waiting for the sheen to go a little bit. What I'm going to do is with a brush laden with water, going to bring it fairly close. And then I'm going to pull my thumb that way. Let's give it a go. Can you see that happening? That light snow effect. Nice big drip there. That's going to make a fantastic bit of snow. So I'm just pulling that through. You can see you're getting that lovely snow effect. Okay, so I'll dry that one off. So that's nicely dry, and what we have now is a gorgeous sky. So we've got a sky. We've actually broken the rules to create snow. So the rule is that you do a wet in wet wash and you don't add water or wetness in, but we've broken that rule at the last minute to create this lovely snow effect. And even that bit that dropped in there, this shows you how you can have happy accidents, has made a beautiful aura and glow there. So I'm now going to twizzle upside down because I find it easier to paint downwards. We're going to start to do some trees. So here I'm going to use this bit of sepia and I've got around number 6. I'm going to start to place in some tree trunks. Now I'm keeping these all in the distance, and you can do as many as you like. We're going to taper them so they get narrower as they come up, and you always best use the biggest brush you can. They want to go at slightly different angles, so you don't end up forming a pattern. So I tend to rest on my little finger and taper as much as I can, but I find it easier to paint downwards to a point rather than upwards to a point. So hence why I turn this upside down. So I'm just focusing on trunks at the minute. Pop another one coming in here. Maybe a little one coming this way. One coming this way. One coming this way off the picture. So I always try to stick to odds. Odds work better than evens. If you struggle to do it this way, you can do it the normal way round. It's absolutely fine. I'll twizzle round at points to show you. So what I've got now is a number 2 rigger. I've gone from my number 6 to my number 2 rigger. This has got a nice long brush head, and it gives you lots of paint to work with, and you can get some really lovely strokes. So we're going to continue to extend. Can you see how fine these strokes are? And the beauty of a rigger is I don't have to keep dipping back into the paint. I can do quite a lot because it's got a big brush head. Okay, and then I'm going to start to bring out some branches. So the branches need to be staggered and to come upwards a little bit. So they're coming, or downwards in my case, because I'm upside down. So I'm going to stagger them so they don't come off at the same point. If they come off at the same point, they tend to look a little bit odd. This is the best way to do trees. So we're building up with these branches now. So again, staggering. And they can overlap. There's no problem with overlapping branches. Looks more natural. So I'm moving from trunk to trunk, popping in branches. Do a bit of a different branch from this one. More upwards sweeping. It's always quite nice to have a few little wispy bits coming from the bottom of one as well. So we're going to pop a few in there, and maybe a few in here. So I'm just going to twizzle back around to have a little look and check I'm happy with how it's looking. So I think balance wise it needs something here. It needs something coming here. That's working really nicely, so I'll twizzle back. Come back into the sepia with my rigger, and then we're going to put little flicks. So we're going to come little branches off the little branches and little flicks. They're like little Ys, but these are upside down Ys. So this challenge is not only a festive challenge, which is going to give you some beautiful paintings, but it's also learning you how to do trees, how to do different techniques. I always think from a perspective, I do this as a perspective that I do with my classes, which is we learn little bits every week and those little bits mount up. Little Y's. This one needs another branch coming off with a Y. Looking for those overlapping branches I've missed at the minute. Okay, so I'll twizzle around and have a little look now. Okay, that's looking lovely. So I'm going to dry this one off. Okay, so that's lovely and dry. It's looking really beautiful. Nice and cold and atmospheric. Right, so I've taken a dab of water. This is my round number 6. I'm going to take a little bit of that intense blue in. So I want this to be fairly watery. In fact, I'm taking more water in. The clue is in the name, intense blue. It's intense. What I want to do now is to create a little bit of shadow. So where I've got this light, that means that the light's coming this way, which means that I'm going to have shadows coming this way. So for each of these trees now, I can create a little bit of shadow. This is going to ground the trees and make it feel even more atmospheric. So I can do some little bits of the shadows coming out. You don't have to get too bogged down with the exact shape. It will hold together quite well as long as you've got a little bit on there. Then the other trick is to take a little bit of kitchen towel that works fantastically with snow and just dab it a bit, because snow tends to undulate and then you get in different levels of shadow. So it's the only time other than dabbing out clouds that I do dabbing, but it works exceptionally well. So you can see now you've got a lovely shadow. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is add some extra snow. So I've got some white gouache here. So we've got that lovely soft snow, and now we're going to have some thicker snow that's a bit more prominent. So this white gouache, it's an element, it's a bit of a balance. You need some water in it, but you don't want it to drip everywhere, and you want it to be nice and thick. So I've got a bit on the brush. Again, I'm holding the brush close to the picture. I'm going to stroke my thumb through that way. You can see that snow start to appear. So this is lovely fine snow. It will splatter everywhere, so make sure you don't do the opposite way, else it will hit you and your clothes. And then the other thing I can do is if I pick up my round number 6, and I'm going to load that paint up with a bit of water, then if I hold my finger close, I can splatter on and get some bigger blobs of snow. You can do this in several ways. You can do that, you can flick upwards with the brush, the same as you did with the toothbrush, but it works fantastically well. So I'll dry that one off. Okay, so that's dried really nicely, and I'm going to give it another level of snow now. So I've got a cotton bud, and I'm dabbing into the white gouache and just creating a few more bigger snowflakes. So you've got a whole combination. You've got the soft snow, you've got the speckled snow, and you've got the bigger, harder bits of snow. Just try desperately not to make a pattern. You want it to be random. Okay, there we go. That's day one done, and it's absolutely beautiful. So please do like, subscribe and share. Hit the notification bell so you know when the next one's coming through. So this is day one of our watercolour Christmas tree challenge, and I'll see you on day two.